when you thought there was no way it could get worse, somehow it got worse. This kind of reminds me of a story of when I had a Volkswagen car. It was a fun car to drive, but it would break down very often, and it was very expensive to fix. And I remember telling my friend all my experiences that I had with the Volkswagen car. Then when it was time for him to buy a new car, I had just gotten rid of the Volkswagen. He was like, yo, I'm trying to buy a new car. He's looking at Teslas. He's like, possible Hondas, Toyotas. I'm like, okay, cool. Sounds good. So my dude sends me a video of another Volkswagen car. Not the same one that I had, but a different one. And I told him, bruh, I just told you my experience with Volkswagen. He's like, yeah, but your car had like 80,000. This one only has 60. I'm like, you buying it and it has 60,000 miles already? He's like, yeah, but you know, it's German engineering, so it was not going to break down. Trust me. I'm like, bro, mine's broke down. Nah, but that might have just been bad luck or something. Okay. That very same night, he drove the car home. Before he got home, it broke down. This kind of feels like that, but in a larger scale in the NBA. Everybody told Nico, brother, you got afraid because Luka kept getting small nagging injuries here and there, and his conditioning wasn't the best, which is probably not helping, if not causing these injuries. So you traded him for a dude that is almost always injured. And what does he do in your first game? He dominates in the first half, and then in the third quarter gets injured. Like, I feel so bad for AD because I was rooting for him. Like, in the first quarter, he was going off. I remember halfway through the first quarter, everybody started texting me and like, yo, you watching the game? I tuned in. This man was having himself a crazy day. He fit well with the team. Everything was great. It felt great. He looked better than ever. I was like, man, you know what? This team might go far. Like, and I was kind of thinking like, man, maybe they can go in and maybe just win like one chip. If they win one chip, then maybe all is forgiven. Because like, whatever, hey, we sacrificed a generational dude for one chip. You know, chips don't come around so often. So it's like, okay, maybe you could justify it if y'all win, right? And the way Anthony Davis was looking in the first quarter, it felt that way. But then reality came crashing down when this dude in the middle of the air started grabbing his groin in a non-contact injury. He is injured, and we don't know how long he might be out. It could require surgery, and if it does, he could be out 1 to maybe a few months. And this is worst case scenario for the Dallas Mavericks, because I believe they have probably a window of 2 to 3 years to win a chip with Anthony Davis, because he's not going to get less injury prone the older he gets. That's just not going to happen, right? So if he's out a long period of time, this might be wraps for this year already. Felt really bad because I saw Anthony Davis trying his heart out in the first part of the game, first half of the game. Good for you, AD. Show these dudes that, you know, we lost a trade, they lost a trade. Prove them wrong. And then like his own body couldn't match the ambition that his heart has. Man, it breaks my heart. It breaks my heart. But it's also a like told you so moment that everybody has towards the general manager of the Mavericks. Dude is probably the worst general manager in the history of every sport to ever exist. I mean, maybe I'm going too crazy, but still, like, dude got proven wrong instantaneously. And people be like, whoa, injuries are random, but it's a player that literally goes down every game. If you watch more than 3 Lakers games per year, you'll see Davis go down at one point. A lot of them are smaller injuries, but I don't know. This might be a more serious injury. We're going to find out. Hopefully not. I would love to see this team in the playoffs. I would like to see this team compete. But yeah, and if you look at the standings, currently the Mavericks are the 8th seed. And they definitely cannot afford Davis missing more than a month or two, because there's a few teams that are slightly behind that are gunning to take that 8th seed away from them. One of them being the Golden State Warriors, who just played their first game with Jimmy Butler on the Warriors. And how did they look? They looked great. They looked much better. Jimmy had 25 points. Now that we have a true shot creator on the team, Curry isn't getting double teamed as much as he was before. And guess what? He had 34 points. Now, again, this was against the Bulls, so it's like it was a great victory, but you know, we're gonna test you out versus better teams to see how you do. But I do think they will be a fun team. I think they look a lot better. And if the Warriors keep playing this well with Jimmy Butler, Butler, they might make a run and yeah, kick the Mavericks out of the 8th seed, and then the Mavericks are outside looking in, having to play in the play-in games. And still don't think the trade was good for the Warriors. It's good, like it looks good right now. They're playing great. I don't think they're necessarily favorites to win it all. I wouldn't even say in the West they're not even a top 3 or 4 team to be favored to win it all. I wouldn't even call them like dark horse, maybe very dark, like very, very, very dark horse favorites. I do think in the playoffs, the fact that you have Steve Kerr, who's been to the finals a ton of times in both player and coach, you have Curry and Draymond, who between them two have tons of finals experience, and then you have Jimmy, who's had 2 finals appearances as well. So you have a roster that is seasoned, that has a ton of experience. And maybe if they end up playing a team like the Rockets or OKC in the playoffs, a very young, these young teams that don't have too much finals experiences, you could see the Warriors using that experience to their advantage and possibly giving them a fun run for their money. So yeah, hopefully we see that. I also wouldn't mind if the Warriors played the Lakers in the playoffs. That's always a very fun matchup. And the way Jimmy was dominating underneath the basket and the Lakers not having a big man, oof, that's going to be an issue. And yeah, that is my segue talking about the Lakers. By the way, all these 3 subjects, I've kind of segued into them. Like, y'all gotta respect me, man. I'm getting on my content game. I'm able to segue into things so smoothly like water, man. Y'all gotta give that a like, maybe comment. Y'all gotta give that some love. Lakers, their Mark Williams trade was rescinded. He failed his physical. Now, they haven't said what he failed his physical for. From my beliefs, they were not worried about his injuries. His past injuries didn't seem to be affecting him currently. So the fact that they found various things wrong with him that basically undid the entire trade kind of worries me a lot, and they never mentioned it either, which is strange. Typically, I would like to think that they would mention it, team, because it's like, why isn't this dude like failing a physical and he's still on the court playing? Like, we got to find out more information about that. But that sucks for the Lakers because now they have no center. Jackson Hayes is the only center that they have on their roster, and their roster is full at 15 players. So essentially, if they want to sign a free agent, they're gonna have to get rid of somebody, or probably send Bronny back to the D League or something like that. But essentially, yeah, they have to get rid of somebody to add a center. And this sucks, man, because they really did need a center. Now, I would have preferred somebody like Nicholas Claxton over Mark Williams because of the defensive edge. But Mark Williams would have still gotten the job done, was still a much better option than what they had now. This kind of makes me want to think like, yeah, most likely the Lakers aren't going to be competitive this year in the playoffs because they don't have a big man. And Austin Reeves proceeded to tell me, sir, shut the hell up, and dropped 45 points. Now I think we all understand the reason why Rob Pelinka will not get rid of Austin Reeves. I'm pretty sure a lot of the upper echelon centers that they wanted, a bunch of these teams were like, yo, give us Austin Reeves. And it looks like, yeah, Rob Pelinka was unwilling to do so because he knows that, hey, maybe Austin Reeves is that dude that could occasionally drop a 45-point game. Definitely him, Luka, and LeBron are going to be a problem in the West. So things are happening in the NBA. Things are wild. Things are unpredictable. Trades are being rescinded. Players that are, 25 and probably top 2, top 3 player in the league right now are being traded because conditioning. It's a lot of crazy stuff happening right now, and I'm all here for it. If you want to keep following this crazy NBA season and see what happens, leave a like, subscribe, and have a great day. Peace.